I'm Mrs. Woody. It was all of recent years. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the other inductees for 2014. I would like to thank all those who voted for Woody as subscribers to the Vintage Modified Stock Cars newsletter. I'd like to especially thank John Guth for getting the ball rolling and promoting Woody for this award. He went to a lot of races, and I believe he handed out flyers to everyone asking them to vote for Woody. I would also like to thank Woody's best friend through all those years, Fritz Miller, who was also a racing buddy. Also, Riley Skelton and all his pit crew, including his son KJ Skelton, who kept the stock car clean and shining. Riley built the car and was also the mechanic for it. His wife Nancy was my best friend, and we would load up our car with our kids and go to all the races in Plymouth, Chilton, and Francis Creek. That was our life for all those years. Nancy died on Labor Day in 2012. I really miss her. I'd especially like to thank my son Brian and my daughter Pam for taking such good care of me since their father died. I remember one Saturday night at Plymouth when Woody blew the 429 Ford engine in the heat race. They towed the car back to Riley's and put in a new engine and had it back in time for the feature. I don't remember how he finished, but being a stock car driver's wife, I don't remember the wins as much as I remember the accidents. Like at Plymouth when Hal Cool rolled over Woody's rear tire close to the finish line, and Woody's car rolled end over end down the straightaway. It looked like a cardboard box rolling down the track in slow motion, bouncing down the track and ending up off the first turn. Our kids, Brian and Pam, who were about 7 and 5 years old at the time, were plastered under me up against the chain link fence on the first turn. We thought he must be dead, but he came out of the car unharmed, thank God. Then there was the night when I didn't go along when Riley brought Woody home from a race, and he had to bring him into the house. He was in a wreck on the track and couldn't remember any of it. They took him to a local hospital for treatment. When he got undressed that night, I saw the bandage dressing on the left knee and cuts and bruises on the right knee. I took off the bandages and there wasn't any damage at all to the left knee, so they bandaged around me. That's why I didn't tell you where the race was. The next morning, his right eye was totally bloodshot, and I suspect he had a slight concussion, but he wouldn't go to the doctor, of course. I really wish Woody were here to receive this award in person. At this point in his life, this night would have been the highlight of his life. I can almost picture him in his environment, swapping racing stories with all his friends, relatives, peers, and his racing idols. Can't you just hear him giggling, taking a swig of his Budweiser as he goes on with his stories about a race that he ran in? He's here in spirit, laughing at me because I have to make this speech instead of him. Did any of you wives and girlfriends of these guys ever wonder why they love to race so badly in spite of all the danger? Well, I did. So one night, when there was a powder puff derby at Plymouth, and I had enough beer, I entered the race. Of course, Woody wouldn't let me use that car. But I persuaded Edwin Zeke, Fritz Miller, or Lee Koppel to let me drive the car. I really don't remember which one let me drive. So here I am, strapped in the metal seat. Remember, in those days, we didn't have seat belts in our cars. The roll-bys were all around me, and a helmet on with the visor down. They dropped the green flag, and we were off. I floored it, and I figured there must have been some women in front of me who didn't have as much beer as I did. So I crawled in between them and knocked them out of the way. What a rush. It was like I was invincible. Didn't even think I could get hurt. But try as I may, I couldn't catch up to the leaders, even though I had it floored. After the race, I got out of the car and realized a scary thing. I had turned from a mild-mannered housewife into a very different personality on the track. It gave me some small insight as to why my husband loved this sport. Also, as I was getting out of the car, the guys came running toward me. I think it was Edwin Zeke, who said to me, "You never took it out of first gear." So much for my racing career. And I'd like to say thanks to all our friends and relatives who came to support my family to see Woody receive this wonderful recognition of his racing career. He thanks you all.